Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. We've been selling auto parts for over 30 years.
What's up guys, I'm Andy from 1A Auto, and today I'm going to show you how to remove and install a door latch in this 2007 Mini Cooper. If there's any parts you need, click the link in the description and head over to 1aauto.com. There's a little pin that goes into this trim piece. We have to take this pin out. So we'll use a trim removal tool. Just pop this off. You could use a flat blade screwdriver. Pull that pin off. And I'm going to pull this trim piece off. You can just grab it, try to pull it off. Sometimes you need a little trim tool to help. Use a little trim removal tool. Get in behind here. Pull that piece off. Now we're going to pull this little light off. Just use a flat blade screwdriver. Get underneath it. You can just disconnect the connector. Just pull that out like that. Set that aside. Next I'm going to use a door trim removal tool. I got to take all the push pins out along this outer edge of the door panel. Now this door panel is going to come out in two pieces right here, separate from the inner panel. Just slide it in here. Apply some pressure. Over here as well. And we can slide it off the door lock rod and pull that panel out. Next we're going to remove this mirror switch. Just going to grab a trim tool, get underneath here, pop it out, slide it out. And we're going to remove the electrical connectors. Just grab, pull it out. Next I'm going to take this trim piece out from around this speaker. I'm just going to use a trim tool, get in behind here, and also grab it with my fingers, pull it straight out, just like that. Next I'm going to pull this trim piece off right here on the outside of the door panel. Just grab it with your fingers, then gently peel it up. Disconnect this electrical connector right here. There's a little button here, push down on that, pull the connector out. Next we're going to pull this connector out. I'm just going to use a flat blade screwdriver, push up underneath here. It's going to release this little lever. Slide the lever. When you slide the lever, the connector will come out. I'm going to grab onto this armrest and just pull up. Some clips that hold it on. Pull that off. I'm going to remove these Torx bolts all around the perimeter of the door panel. I'm going to use a T30 socket, an extension, and a ratchet. Next I'm going to raise the window. I'm going to put the key in the car, raise the window up a little bit. I want to get so that the bolt hole for the window assembly lines up with that hole so that I can actually take it out. right about there. And I'll turn the key off. Next, I'll use a T30 Torx socket and an extension and a ratchet. I'm going to take that bolt out. You want to, when you take these bolts out, you're going to want to hold the window. So make sure you do that, because you don't want the window to fall. It's kind of hard to see the bolts coming out, but be good to have a friend hold the window while you do this as well. Then I'll do the same on this side. All right. And the bolt is like a caged bolt, so it's not going to come out. It's just going to loosen. And I'll grab the window. Oops. This one's going to be a little looser. Once you pull those bolts really loose, you should be able to slide the window right out and set it aside where it's not going to break. Next, we're going to remove this last of the 11 bolts. Pull that one out. I want to remove this weather stripping from this area of the door. I'll just take a trim tool, get underneath here. There's a little push right there that goes in to the door. That retains the weather strip on there, and then there's 2 push pins. So I'll take those 2 push pins out, get underneath there, peel them up. They can stay in the weather stripping, or if they come out, you can just set them aside. You just want this loose right here, like that. Let that hang, and then we'll do the same on this inboard side. I'm going to remove this weather strip over here. Just use the same trim tool. It's secured right there. Pull that out of our way. Just like that. There's 2 more retainers. We'll just leave that like that. There's some Torx bolts. There's 1, 2, and then there's 3 over here. So a total of 5. We're going to remove those with a T30 and a ratchet. When we pull this one off, there's going to be a little bracket. You can pull that bracket, set that aside. Next, we're going to take this nut off. It's a 10 millimeter. Use a 10 millimeter socket and a ratchet. And then there's this little indexer, kind of like a washer, that just indexes the location for that stud. Pull that off. We should be able to grab the door panel, slide it out a little bit. On the inside of the panel, we're just going to grab this little bracket right here. It's plastic. We're just going to pry it up like that. It's got a little T thing that goes right in here. This little T-bar, is what attaches to the latch handle on the inside. And then there's little slots right there So that comes out like that. We'll slide this out here. Pull that out of the way. And here's the inner door panel. Next, we're going to take this cable off right here. So I'm going to push down on this lever and try to maneuver it out down below. Just like that. Get that off. You can pull the cable through the top so that it's released from there. Next, I'm going to take this Allen bolt out. I'm going to use a 5mm Allen socket. You can use an Allen wrench if you have an Allen wrench. Once it's kind of loose, I'll do it by hand. Pull this bracket out. Now I'm going to take this Torx bolt out. I'm going to use a T25. Pull that bolt out. I'm going to take this Allen bolt out. I'm going to use an Allen wrench. Loosen this up here. Once I got it a little bit loose, I can get it from the front side. All right, now I'll take this bolt out. Once those are out, you can grab the handle. You might have to wiggle it a little bit. Should get back and forth. Pull it straight out. And the cable come out with it. To get this lock cylinder assembly out, I'm just going to slide this in. I'm going to slide it up and pull this out of our way, just like that. Disconnect this electrical connector right here. Just push down on the tab. There's a tab on the inside as well. Just pull it out. There's 2 tabs. Set that aside. Now we're going to take these Torx bolts out. I'm going to use a T25 and a ratchet. And I'm going to grab on the inside of the door and support the latch while I take that last bolt out. All right, now just going to slide this out here. I'll take this grommet off out here. Just pull that out of the way. Just twist this. And pull the door latch right out. All right, we're going to slide this door latch back in. We want to slide this rod through this hole right here. You may have to maneuver it a little bit. When installing this door latch assembly, it's going to be a little bit easier if I pull this rod off. I'm just going to use a pick tool, right angle, just pop it off here. if you could get this off when you were taking it off, that would be easier as well. So just set that aside. You can reposition the latch assembly back into place, like that. We'll take these bolts from the outside, the Torx bolts. We'll get those started. I'm gonna get them all started before I tighten them down. All right, now they're all in there. I'll just snug them down with a T25 and a ratchet. Next, we're gonna install this lock rod. We'll just slide this back through here to there, get it into position. And that little retainer right there, and then just lock it into place. We can install this rubber grommet. I'm just going to slide it over. And put this into position, like so. Just like that. To reinstall this lock cylinder assembly, just slide this in. This piece folds, so you're gonna fold this, and this is gonna spline into the door latch assembly. It's a little bit tricky to see. You may have to twist the spline in the door latch assembly. If it twisted when you pulled it out, you may have to take a Phillips head screwdriver and twist it back into the right position. I want to make sure there's a little groove in this lock cylinder assembly right there. Get that on there properly. And then I will take the outer door handle. I'm going to slide the cable. I'll slide it through, just like that. And we'll slide the handle into position, just like that. We're going to get this Torx bolt started on the outside. I'm not going to tighten it down all the way. I'm going to install this Allen bolt with the bracket right here. Just gonna get it started. And then with this bolt, I'm gonna go through the lock cylinder bracket. Get that one started. I use my 5mm Allen and tighten this bolt down. Snug that up. And we can tighten this bolt down. Just snug it up. Snug the other one up a little more. That's good. Now we're going to reattach the cable. It's going to have to slide through. Slide through here. It's going to be hard to see a little bit. Just like that. And then pull down on here, try to get it locked in down below. Just like that. So we'll just check the operation. Yep, looks like it's working. Next we'll attach this electrical connector. right there. Okay, now we're gonna reinstall the door panel. Just gonna slide it over here, like this. All right, we're gonna take this cable, we're gonna feed it through here. And then through here. You get it into position. You wanna make sure this little T on the end of the cable is just like that. This T was twisted on me earlier, I had to change it. And then that little T is gonna line up with this little groove right there. And then this little slot is gonna line up with that groove. So we'll just line this up. It's gonna slide on first. And just push it straight on. There's a foam piece down here at the bottom. I'm going to make sure that's slid into the bottom of the door panel. And make sure the lock rod is positioned properly. So make sure your bolt holes all line up. They're there. And then this little stud is sticking out there. And everything looks good. Oh, there's a wiring harness right here. You want to pull these wires on the outside. Just go like that. And that looks like it's in position. I'll put my nut on the stud right there. I'll get these all these bolts in. Now we're going to install the window glass. Slide this in. Once it's in position, and I should be able to start tightening those bolts. Go here. I'm going to push the window all the way to the back and down. So I'm going to snug these Torx bolts up, just finger tight. That one and this front one. Next, I'm going to put the window up. Make sure your hands are clear when you do this. When it's all the way up, then I'm going to just check to see if I have to adjust this at all. And if I have to, I can move the window back or forward a little bit. sure it lines up how I want it to line up. That looks pretty good right there. I'll turn the key off. Actually, I'm gonna roll the window down again. All right, take the key out. I'm gonna take my T30 extension and ratchet. I'm gonna snug these bolts up. Not too tight because it is glass. Snug it up. Here's another tip for if you're removing this to get the window to line up better. Before you take it apart, you can take a dry eraser marker, just mark the window where it's located. That'll get you in the right vicinity of where to install the window, make it a little bit easier. Install the outside window trim, just line it up. Get that in position, just push it down. So get those started, and we'll go to the other side. There's this bracket that we need to slide in underneath and install this other Torx bolt. You may have to maneuver the door panel up and down a little bit to get it in position. And then these two little Torx screws go in on this bracket. Don't do that. Okay. All right, get those all started. Before I snug these down, I am going to get all these other bolts started for the door panel, just so that they line up with the holes. One right there, right here. Just get these all started. Once I get those all started, then I can snug these all down. Just snug these down with my socket, extension, and ratchet. forgot to put this little washer on. So I'm gonna take this 10mm bolt off, just put that on. Luckily, this is indexed in the right location, so it's a good idea to put that on before you put the Torx bolts in. Now I'll tighten this nut down with my 10mm socket and ratchet, and hold that little washer indexer, and just snug it up. Now we're going to push the molding back into position. These little tabs go in the holes. Just push it. Sometimes you got to work it a little bit, back and forth. And same with the front. Lock that into position. And we have these little pins on the side here. Right there. Grab the other pin. Push that pin in. It's all set. We can reinstall this trim piece. Just slide it from the bottom. Lock it into position. We'll connect the wiring to the motor. Lock that in place. And then this wire is going to connect right here. And then you're going to slide the lever down and lock it in place. Install this trim over the speaker. Make sure you feed those wires through and push it on. Now we're going to connect the mirror switch. There's this black connector goes on the bottom, white one goes on the top. And let's slide this into position like that. And then we'll push it down, lock it in place. We're going to install the outer door shell. We want to slide this wire through this hole down here. So that's going through there. Then install the lock rod right there. Just line the whole panel up. Make sure that wire goes through. It's all lined up. Then we're just going to push it on. Looks like it's all the way on. Yep. All right, to reinstall this light, I'm just gonna plug this in here. Slide this up. Lock it in place. Now we're gonna pop this trim back on. Just line it up. Lock it in place. We'll install this push pin underneath in this hole. Like that.
Thanks for watching. Visit us at oneauto.com for quality auto parts, fast and free shipping, and the best customer service in the industry.